Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Neurodiverse and Wrestling Assess. Night of Champions happened yesterday, and I'm here to cover it. Boy, was it hectic, and was it really good. So we get a new King and Queen of the Ring at... So anytime I talk about Queen or King of the Ring, this sound would play. As well as we get a new champion and a street fight that took it to a whole new level, and Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross feud builds up to a whole new level as well. So let's get right into it. So we start things off with the King of the Ring, with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Pretty much, it was a WrestleMania level match. It was kind of like the history of the Legacy and Evolution faction, mentor versus protege, with Cody and Randy, and you saw it. The energy was nuts. The crowd was screaming. They were singing both of the anthems. The tension was high. You can feel it in the air. So it was technical. It was really technical, a lot of back and forth mind games. And it was really good because they were trying to one-up each other. But after this suplex from the top rope, Randy's back get injured. And that's when Cody shows a new side of Cody we never saw before. That's when we see Cody be aggressive. He goes after Randy's back multiple times. It's a couple spots that he beats Randy's back down. Like, he pulls Randy against the ring rope and like almost pulls Randy Orton's back out. Yes, Cody Rhodes was on a whole new Homelander level. If you ever watched The Boys, he was in his Homelander era right there. And then he also hits this one move when he hits Randy's back and then hits a super Cody cutter. He kicks out. He hits a top rope Cody cutter. Randy keeps kicking out at every move. Then Randy comes back with a couple RKOs out of nowhere, but the ending is crazy. So Randy is looking at the crowd. He is frustrated. His back is injured. He tried to bring in a chair. The referee takes it away, but that was a fool. So he takes off the turnbuckle. He tried to hit Cody. Cody sees the turnbuckle. Cody doesn't want to use the turnbuckle, but at the end, Cody pushes Randy into the turnbuckle, hitting him on the side of his ribs, and then hitting a Rhodes cutter for the end. And at the end of the match, you can see Cody looking disappointed in himself, that he did some stuff that he didn't believe Cody would do. He kind of lost a little bit of his humanity, and Randy sees it, and Randy looks at him a little bit ashamed and mad, more intense, like, okay, you brought the aggression side, but next time I'm going to bring more attention. And then Cody gets interviewed, and he thanks Randy Orton for the match. Randy kind of looks at him from the distance. We're going to get later on a feud. I can see it. And Cody says, John Cena better watch out, or Punk, either or. But at the end of the day, King Rhodes is coming for all. So now we have King Cody Rhodes, aka Homelander, coming after the undisputed WWE Championship. Boy, isn't that going to be fun. The second match was a street fight. NXT besties to immortal enemies. So we get Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley. Raquel Rodriguez became a star at Night of Champions. So as Rhea Ripley, but Raquel really shined. So Raquel comes out looking like a biker gang member, and Rhea Ripley comes out in an orange and black gear. This is new. Rhea never wears orange, and I kind of liked it. So the match starts with both women tumbling and brawling, but every time Rhea tries to get an upper advantage, Raquel just didn't feel no pain. And then it led into a brawl, and then Raquel got the upper hand, tying Rhea near the ropes. And then she goes get weapons. She get a kendo stick, a steel chair. She starts beating up Rhea with the kendo stick. Rhea screaming in pain. Everyone they were screaming like, oh my God, Rhea's getting beat up for once. Raquel tried to hit her with a chair. Rhea kicks the chair in Raquel's face. It was a little goofy. That was a little goofy part. So she kind of like just falls down. And then Rhea and her brawl on the outside. So it got crazy outside. So Raquel takes off the cover for, the announce table. Rhea beats her up. Raquel sets up the steel steps near the ring apron, and both of them start banging each other's head, like ricocheting off of it like they're playing drums. And then this crazy spot. So Rhea try to hit Superior Karana, but Raquel picks her up, and that announce table cover is leaning against the timekeeper belt, and Raquel just throws Rhea through it. Raquel was a beast. Back in the ring, crazy stuff happens because Rhea is knocked out. So Raquel brings in a table. She's bringing in weapons. She sets up the table, but back in the ring, Rhea and her fight like no tomorrow. Rhea hits her Razor's Edge and then hits the Riptide submission, trying to get pretty much Raquel to tap out. But Roxanne Perez shows up out of nowhere, knocks out Rhea, and then she's telling Raquel, come on, let's set up the table. We can put her through the table. And then Rhea looks at Roxanne like, you stupid little girl. And Roxanne starts running away. Rhea puts a trash can over her head to take out the trash. And she tells Roxanne, welcome to Judgment Day. Hopefully they don't betray you. And then slide kicks her with the trash can, knocking Roxanne out for the rest of the match. Back in the ring, the finale was crazy. So, the finale was crazy. So, we have Rhea Ripley setting up the table in between the corner of the ropes like a surfboard. I guess they was going to do some surfing. And then both of them brawl on the table near, the ring side. And out of nowhere, Rhea hits the Riptide off the table, leading on the ropes for the win. Wow, what a finish. And I'm going to give this match 4 out of 5. It was really good. And I felt like Rhea built Raquel up. Raquel is going to be a star after this match. I feel like, and Rhea was brilliant. I like the technical side of Rhea, not the brutality, but her thinking with her brain, okay, what kind of moves can I do to take down Raquel, who's bigger than her? But it was really good. On to the next match. So then we get Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. The last couple of weeks, Kross been picking on Sami. Sami's been snapping. And we finally see that all come into fruition with this match. Kross and Scarlett comes out in a dark, fiery fashion. Scarlett with all these chains, and Kross coming out with his hair all wet, slicked back. He and her are looking crazy. They're laughing, they're giggling. She's screaming, he's screaming. And then Sami represents his roots with pride. Arabian soldier mode, full Arabian gear. It was really cool to see someone like that represent their heritage in WWE. And the match was really mind-gamey. We saw Kross at the beginning. Sami goes after him. Sami doesn't punch him because Kross is like, that's what I want you to do. I want you to beat me up. I want you to punch me. I want you to let out that anger you've been holding in because you can't get a title. And Sami stops it, and then Punch slaps him. So then, him and Sami fight. And then Sami takes Kross on the outside of the ring. And Sami does this cool move. I love how Sami's doing it lately. He tried to go for a springboard, and then he springboards back into the ring. And then Kross is looking mad, oh, you didn't want to hit me. And then he's about to go in the ring angry, but Scarlett pulls him aside, and she starts whispering to him. And then we can kind of see, okay, so Kross is the brutality, while Scarlett is the mind. And we see that play during the match, and I like that. So then Kross beats down Sami back in the ring. Sami's going to beat up in the corner, and Kross is like, I told you. Just let it out. Let that dark side out. Scarlett's in the corner, dancing around, laughing. And then she goes into Sami's face, screaming at him, saying that let out the anger. Everything will be fine. You just have to release your true self. Really evil, really demonic. And then Kross puts Sami in the tree of woe and starts beating him down. But Sami Zayn fights back, do 12 punches in a corner to Kross. The ending was crazy. So Kross pretty much knocks out Sami. He's about to do a running knee. But Sami gets back up, hits a haluva kick out of nowhere to next week to Kross for the win. I feel like it was a really good match, and I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I felt like it was a good match. I feel like Kross and Scarlett should be used more on the main roster. I kind of liked it when they had the faction, but the faction didn't went anywhere, no progress. But Karrion Kross was so good in NXT with Scarlett. Like the whole mind games, when he used to have like the sand stopwatch. I want him to bring that back, like the TikTok. Hey, maybe if they do a draft or a superstar shakeup, do something with him and like Aleister Black. Like you can. Cross is really good, and I don't like how they underutilize him. Finally, he's getting that opportunity. And Sami Zayn is looking amazing, and I want to see where Sami Zayn go after here. Does he go after Gunther at SummerSlam? We will have to wait to see. And then we get the Bloodline War. So we get Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu for the US Championship. And damn, Jacob Fatu came out all black, looked like a werewolf. His teeth was painted black. He was like in war mode. So as soon as Jacob comes in the ring, Solo just beats him up. Solo just millie-wops him, starts beating him down. And this is the first time we see Jacob Fatu be really vulnerable. Because Solo takes most of the match control. It was like a lot of crazy strikes, springboards, moonsaults. And it was a really cool spot when Solo hits a hip attack mocking Jacob Fatu, but Jacob Fatu gets back up, beats the hell out of him. And then, I called it. It wasn't a prediction. It was a spoiler. I knew JC Montero was going to come out. He comes out and he distracts, the referee. And Solo's distracted the referee while Jacob Fatu is on the top rope. And then we get the return of Tonga Loa. I didn't expect that, but we get a return of one of the Tonga brothers. So Tonga Loa hits a twisted cross DDT on Solo, but that doesn't stop Solo. And then we get another new member of the Bloodline coming in. He beats the hell out of Solo, he beats the hell out of Jacob Fatu, and Jacob Fatu gets punched by Solo with his thumb, and Solo wins the United States Championship. Wow, what a match. And I want to see where this goes from here, because Solo is the only person he can really rely on is Jimmy. So it's Solo versus Jimmy versus the rest of the Bloodline. Does Roman Reigns come back to help? It's going to get very interesting. And I'm not surprised they called in a new Bloodline member. And maybe the Tonga brothers won't be together. Maybe the other one goes with Jacob. We have to wait to see how that goes. But I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. The storytelling was good. And I felt like the storytelling brought the match more together. But at parts, I did feel like the match was just a little sloppy. Because it's like, it's not that. It's just that, like, you have two men that use the same moveset, or the two people who use the same moveset, you're going to get repetitive at times. And I felt like at times it was like, okay, it's really repetitive. Same move, but it was good nonetheless. Then we get the Queen of the Ring finals. So we get Asuka versus Jade Cargill. And boy, was the match good. People need to stop saying Jade cannot wrestle, because in this match, Jade showed that she can wrestle. And Asuka, I'm going to say now, future Hall of Famer, Asuka. Multiple championships. The match right here should go in one of her accolades as one of her most best matches. Not for in-ring skill, but her technicality and her storytelling. So Asuka comes out looking like a demon clown. But my favorite gear of the night, and we know Jade kills it with the gear. She comes out cosplaying Storm from the X-Men, from the original comics and the 90s show. I'm going to say now, Marvel, if you're going to do X-Men, hire Jade Cargill as Storm. Like, she literally just put her casting call there. It was so good. She came in with the cape and like the Storm. And, it was just chef kiss. It was just perfect. So the match was good. Asuka was playing mind games most of the match with Jade. She was like getting into Jade's thing. Like, she told Jade, I'm gonna be the one to get in your mind. Because yes, brute force, but technicality and skill can overpower that. And we see that. So Jade starts beating up Asuka. Asuka keep dodging moves. And then little by little, near the ropes, Jade gets her legs injured because Asuka's pulls it and twists it. And then from there, Asuka stalks down Jade like a vulture stalks down their prey after the prey is dead. So every second, Asuka's putting submission holds on Jade's leg. She's like putting multiple locks, multiple submissions, but Jade overpowers it all the time. And then Jade gets some pretty impressive moves. Like she does some power moves that are really impressive. But the finale was really good. So Asuka puts on the Asuka lock. Jade rolls out of it. And Asuka tries to do all her submissions, but every single time Jade reverses it. And Jade is fast enough to hit the Jade out of nowhere for the win. 1, 2, 3. Both women was amazing. The match, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. I felt like it was really good. The only thing, and I liked this match because there was no big spots. And that's kind of the problem I kind of have with some matches now, because all of a sudden, due to one other promotion, now everyone thinks that you have to do big spots. Because that promotion, every match, they do really big spots. So now every other wrestling company or every other wrestling match thinks, okay, we need to do like this high-flying multi-person spot. You don't need that for a match. And this match kind of showed it. And same with the Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross match. Some matches, you don't need like these big epic spots. But we get Queen Jade, and then she does her interview, and she says, everyone underestimated me. People say I can't wrestle, but I proved it tonight. And the storm is coming to SummerSlam, so whoever steps in her way would be swiped away. So now we have Queen Cargill and King Rhodes. Like what I said, it wasn't a prediction, it was a spoiler. And now on to the main event of all main events. So we get the main event, WWE Undisputed Championship with John Cena and CM Punk. I loved it. It was bringing like the early 2010s back. You felt that 2009 to 2012 energy. The crowd was chanting, screaming, singing their songs. And it was just so good. Right from the gate, both men look at each other and the crowd is going ballistic. They both put in some locks and then they stop. Punk mocks Cena. Cena gets mad. Cena starts beating him up. Punk gets out of every move, but Punk fights back more aggressively. Punk tried to hit John Cena's AA move, so John Cena rolls out the ring because John Cena's like, nah. You ain't gonna use my moves. You already used my promo. You ain't gonna do that. And then it got really interesting because it was just crazy. So John Cena hits the 5-knuckle shuffle, but then Punk retaliates with a running knees in the corner, and then an elbow drop. He even hits a Black Widow, a homage to his wife AJ Lee. Does this mean AJ Lee is coming soon? Because if him and Punk can team up, that would be epic. And then we get some good, like John Cena puts on the FTF, and then CM Punk reverses it to the Anaconda device. And then John Cena puts the Anaconda device on Punk, and then Punk puts on the STF on Cena. I liked it. Like each person know each other so well that they was using each other's moves. And then out of nowhere, John Cena leaves the ring. He tried to grab the title. And then he looks at Punk. The crowd is chanting, no, Cena, no. So Cena drops the championship. And I think we're going to maybe get John Cena near the end turning face again, because it kind of hints in this match. Maybe not full face, but like tweener. He ain't going to, but you see it. And then, you know, they start brawling, and then both men get knocked out because they beat the hell out of each other. And then Seth Rollins shows up. I knew it. Seth came out with his boy. He had the briefcase. He snapped his fingers, and then Bronson and Breaker just runs into the ring. But John Cena beats him up. John Cena beats him up, and then Punk also beats him up to take him out. But they get overpowered. Punk goes through a table. And then out of nowhere, Benta comes in to beat up Breaker, and then Sami Zayn won a couple of his hits in too, so they just beat the hell out of Breaker, and then Breaker leaves with Benta and Sami beating him up. And then Bronson Reed gets aid by John Cena and then go to sleep by Punk. And then we get a moment, Punk puts out his hand to Cena, being like, well, we can stop Seth if we team up. So John plays along with Punk's game, give Punk a handshake and then a hug, but then Seth comes in and he pushes Punk into Seth. Seth hits him with the briefcase. John Cena hits the AA on Seth, and John Cena picks up the win out of nowhere and just books it out of the arena to end the match. What? That was crazy. And it was like pretty hectic. And like what I said, I think John Cena is going to be a little bit of a face. Not 100%, but like the way that he did kind of team up with Punk for a bit, but then he quashed him. But I liked it. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. The only reason I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, it's because I felt like the ending wasn't built up enough. Like, they could have had Sami and Penta actually in the ring, and then it could have been a brawl. I wanted to see Seth more. Seth didn't really do a lot in this part. And most of the match was both of them going back and forth. I liked it, but they was using each other's moves. It was pretty much like that nostalgia thing, like, I'm going to do this, you're going to do that. It was still good, though. But I thought it was going to be a little more elevated. Hopefully they get one more match. Most likely they're going to need a... I feel like for SummerSlam, Punk is going to be like, well, he cheated, so I want a match. That's most likely the match for SummerSlam. But, guys, that is Night of Champions. It delivered with some legacy made. Rivalries heating up to a whole new level. And we did get some new stories in the making. So hopefully you guys like, comment, subscribe. And, you know, you never know. A brawl can break out of nowhere, a storm can come after you, or Cody Rhodes can just beat the hell out of your back. So I will see you guys next time.